We've got Simon Van Veek, and now Simon is a digital strategist and a thought leader, and he has developed and implemented amazing campaigns for some of Australia's biggest brands like McDonalds, BigPond, Channel 7, Microsoft, Vodafone. Like literally I had a page on how amazing Simon was and how incredible and all the incredible things he's done. So give him a warm welcome. He is going to talk to us, and I think this is really cool. He's going to talk to us about the 6 death penalties of marketing automation. So kind of where you can go wrong. So please welcome Simon. Simon, you can have my microphone.
I actually couldn't decide on a title, so I had a few goes at it. Rick asked me to talk about marketing automation. I should point out that marketing automation, part of the problem is it shouldn't be confused with sales automation, which is something... Sorry, Rick. Which shouldn't be confused with sales automation. That's something entirely different. Shouldn't be confused with CRM, which is another entirely different kettle of fish, and shouldn't be confused with email blastings, which is another kettle of fish. So it's the worst and most confusing space. I had another title which was never before so much money being spent on such good software and so little done with it. And the third one, which I thought would bring it back to earth, is why buying this stuff is like a Willoughby housewife buying a Land Cruiser. So I kind of scanned the audience. I'm pretty sure I've got no Willoughby housewives here, so I thought I'd kind of... So the first death penalty crime of marketing automation is this paralysis of choice. So let's have a look at that. You live in Willoughby, your kids are at the local Catholic school and you do yoga, and you have to buy a new car. You drive probably 18 kilometres a day. I know a Willoughby housewife that had to hand her Subaru back because she wasn't doing enough mileage and the diesel engine was clagging up, and they said 18 kilometres a day, sorry, it's never going to work. So they look at this car, they go, will it go off-road? Oh, yeah, might go to the football on Saturday, onto the grass at the SCG. Better get a... You're going to go up steep hills? Yeah, Westfield, Chatswood. It's kind of, you know, you're going to go down steep hills? Oh, Westfield, Chatswood. Do you want a fridge in it? You know, might need that. Kids, a long way to school, might need a cool drink on a hot day, you know. And, you know, and then they go and they make an emotional decision. I really want one because 3 of the women in the book club have got one. And so what that woman really needs is a Hyundai i30, but what she buys is a Land Cruiser, and the same stuff happens with marketing automation. So if you look at the marketing automation for small business, you've got a shitload of this stuff. You've got Entreport, HubSpot, Infusionsoft. Now you've got MailChimp that does marketing automation. All of these stuff does a lot of things. All of it looks like marketing automation. All of it sounds like CRM. Some of it even sounds like sales automation. This stuff is really rich. Then you move into the landscape of enterprise. Oh my God. So then you've got Eloqua. Oracle bought Eloqua. And then Oracle bought Responses. So fabulous software, great, does everything it promises off the box, out of the box. The problem is, if you have a discussion with an Oracle person, you have to have a discussion with an Eloqua person and a Responses person, because you have to decide if you're B2B or B2C, and if you're going to send a lot of emails, only a little email. And, you know, there's the first problem. Then you've got Marketo. You know, now Marketo want to do personalization, not just marketing automation. It's real-time personalization. It's omni-commerce. And you can integrate your social media and your campaigns. And what about your DMP and your marketing trading and all of that stuff? So that's got bigger. Then you got Unica. Then you got ExactTarget, which was bought by Salesforce. And Salesforce were doing marketing automation. Now you don't need that. You can get it all out of ExactTarget, which used to do email and now does something else, and the CRM and the stuff. So it's bloody confusing, and that's half of the problem with this stuff, is that nobody knows what they're buying. And the other problem with this stuff is that people buy one thing, and then they've only got the job for a year, and then the next person comes in, and that's my second crime, is they never implement something properly. So they've got something, a Salesforce vendor comes in and goes, but are you doing omni-commerce channel optimization across your ad trading environment into your retail environment? No, I'm not. Well, you can. So they buy it. And they never implement it because they're only in the job for a year. That sort of shit takes 5 years to do because you've got... And then they're gone. And the next person comes and they go, oh God, I want to integrate this stuff with social media, and that bloody tag doesn't work with that tag, so we'll buy something else. So the second crime is none of this stuff ever gets implemented properly, and it's all really good, but it just doesn't get done because it's really complicated, and it covers a whole variety of things in any organisation, and no one puts enough time and resource and money into this kind of thing. And the thing that dawned on me while I was listening to that presentation, I mean, what Australian company has spent enough money on digital in the right way, with the right resources, over the right period of time? It's probably Combank and Telstra. That's it. I mean, this stuff is just ridiculous that you've got companies putting bloody Facebook tags on their retail sites, and the site goes down because the Facebook... I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And it's 2015. I was doing this shit in 1995 with Mike J over there, and nothing's changed. It's just probably a little worse. Anyway, so they never implement something properly, and that's... the other thing is who owns this stuff. That's the other complex issue around marketing automation. Because you run into... It's not marketing... Well, it kind of is. So you've got a bunch of brand people that really want to know, or just care about the colour and the logo. Then you've got the DM people who just care about the numbers. And then you've got some IT dude who actually doesn't understand any of it because he's only been there for 6 months and the product was... Like, it just goes on and on and on. And then there's some poor agency at the edge of this who's barely struggling to cope because they weren't the same agency. Either they get lucky and they make the transition from the Marketo to Eloqua implementation, or they don't. But they land in this environment. It's all uncertain. No one really understands. It's really complicated. When you consider that marketing automation is there to automate the relationship you have with your customers in a meaningful, scalable, and replicable way, and you've got a bunch of people who don't really understand the customers, don't really understand the environment, don't really understand IT, don't really understand what the software does, trying to do that stuff without an adequate amount of money to do a proper job of it. So if you look at automotive and their go at marketing automation, you've got OEMs and dealers. I mean, it's an amazing thing, but these two groups, OEMs are the people that kind of make it or import it, and the dealers are the people that sell it. They don't see themselves as part of the same ecosystem for historical reasons or whatever, but dealers run campaigns going, buy a car, you know, price, 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 and the OEMs run brand campaigns with, you know, lavish advertising and like the Kia one. The problem is those two things never meet, and there's marketing automation at the dealer, at the brand level, and there's marketing automation at the dealer level. And none of those things tie together. You can be getting emails time after time from the dealers because you've happened to have opted in somewhere along the line. You turned up at a dealer asking for a car. And you'll be getting ads, marketing automation from the brand telling you about their brand campaign that they just ran. You don't need to know anything about that. You know, you've decided on the Land Cruiser. You know there's a fridge in it, and you know it's going to be magnificent up that bloody Westfield Chatswood on-ramp, you know. You don't need to know anything about the car, so no one's got anything to say, and they're using marketing automation to tell you nothing that you didn't know the day before. So this stuff is really problematic, which gets to the next crime, which is because they haven't actually mapped the user journey. I did a shop across 18 dealerships for a client of mine. Went into 18 dealerships pretending to buy a car. I went with my wife and my old car. You can't imagine how painful that is. 18 Saturday mornings in a row, you're in a dealership with the wife going, yeah, we want a new car, yeah, she's trading hers in. You know, I've got the car out the back, and, you know, we go through the whole thing. You shake hands with 18 people in every dealership. It's frigging bizarre. It's a 2000 process in a 2015 world. Anyway, and none of it works. None of their marketing automation works. They don't understand what you're there for. They don't know that the fact that you gave them a lead the day before that says, here's the car I've got to trade in. I'm coming at 9 o'clock in the morning. I want to test drive that car. You don't get in that car. You arrive, they don't even know you were there. They don't know you come. You get spammed for other offers for cars other than the one you came to test drive. It's because they haven't mapped this thing. And why haven't they mapped it? Because mapping stuff is really hard, it's really expensive, and some guy like me's got to spend 18 weekends in a row in and out of dealerships to really understand where the problems are. And then someone's got to put a shitload of money on a block with an agency or somebody that actually understands how to fix this stuff to fix it. And then a bunch of people in the dealership have all got to go to training and learn, understand how this stuff works. And a whole pile of cookies and things have got to be lined up so the stuff actually works in a meaningful way and people get the SMS they expect. None of it's difficult. It just needs a lot of work and a lot of money, and none of that money is spent. And so a lot of really expensive software goes to waste spitting out bloody SMS messages for a car you never wanted, a dealer you're never going to go back to. The other thing is thinking the stuff actually does something. When you buy, unless you buy one of the small business packages like Entreport, HubSpot, Infusionsoft, they actually do quite a bit out of the box. But that's kind of the difference between enterprise and small business. Small business assumes that there's nobody there that's actually going to be able to configure this. There's not 5 geeks that are going to spend their time mapping and learning how to use it. And small business software assumes there's 2 people that are going to have to come to grips with it kind of quickly because they're going to want to use it. Enterprise software assumes you're going to spend the next 6 months configuring it and working out how to use this thing. So that's kind of the difference. But the point is, even if you're a small business or a big business, nothing happens on its own. You can buy that software, you can put it in. Every single thing that software does has to be worked out by a human being and made to work in a way you expect it to. It doesn't actually do anything without you making it do something. And that's the other problem. It's sold like this panacea. You ever been to one of these sales presentations? Oh my God, it's magnificent. You're running advertising campaigns here, you've got cookies firing off, you're trading, your price of your CPM is down from $40 to $5 because you're not paying some agency in the middle. Everything's going well, you're generating shitloads of traffic, it's all happening. And the software is working over here, and every customer personalization, omni-channel, optimization, blah, blah. You heard any of this stuff? All of that's working, but it doesn't. None of it works until you've actually made it work. And if you want to know how to do this stuff, go and have a look at the information content marketers. Those people selling get rich quick, get skinny quick, get fit quick, get something quick schemes on the internet. Nobody understands how to make this stuff work like those guys do. They worked it out. Those guys wake up in the morning, they look at their mobile phones, all they care about is the traffic, the conversion rate, how many people came to the website, how many people got a retargeting cookie, how many people came to the lead page, how many people came to the tripwire page, how many people converted from each of those things. They actually know that stuff. If you want to know how to do it, start with that industry and simplify what you do down to what that industry does, because they actually understand how to make this stuff work. They run it every day, and they do it in a really simple, manageable way, because none of them are enterprise. So, look, the final thing I want to say is that the biggest issue with marketing automation is that ultimately, marketing is about people, and this software is about servicing the needs of people, both in the business and the needs of your customers. And that's actually half of the problem with this stuff. It's sold as some solution that does something. It doesn't actually really do anything until you understand what the customer wants, how they want it, where they are when they want it, what device they're using when they're there, and what's going to convert them. That's the other problem with this stuff, is the minute you open this out to doing a proper job with marketing automation, every single thing on that channel, the page on the website that you land on, the lead page, the tripwire page, every single one of those is now an element with its own conversion rate and its own opportunity to optimize this. The amount of content and marketing material and advertising material and analytics that needs to go into actually making this stuff work is extraordinary. And like, I haven't seen a marketing department in Australia that's got 3 people sitting around waiting to do a proper job of this stuff. And that's actually the other part of this problem, is it's incredibly content intensive. It's really difficult to do properly. But the returns are there. My wife was writing some content for an information product marketer in the States, and she could write a headline, one headline, that got a 26% better conversion rate than another headline. Now, these guys care about that, but if you're writing a headline across your web page, then you're writing the headline on an email, and then you're writing that headline into SMS messaging. It actually gets really complicated really quickly, and that's another part of the problem with marketing automation. So, at the end of the day, if you're choosing one of these things or using one of these things, invariably there's only one thing that matters in your organisation. Like, there's a lot of features in this thing. And there are a lot of features, and they all do something different, and they all do it a little differently. But if you need a Hyundai i30, don't go and buy a Land Cruiser. Thank you.